All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is gonna be a recap on the series of Ultimate Spider by Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicero, and Matt Wilson. I'm here today with my son JJ. Say what's up, JJ.
Hey.
He's shy. Don't worry about it. So, question: what do you know about Ultimate Spider-Man?
Not that much.
Not that much. All right, good. Because it gives me opportunity to explain how all of this came to be. Okay, so there used to be an Ultimate Universe back in the day, right? And that's where Miles came from, right?
Okay.
That universe is no longer. It ceased to exist. The only two people that survived from that universe were Miles and the Maker. This guy right here, right? He's basically another version of Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic.
Isn't that the guy with like the weird helmet?
Yes, that is him. So basically, unbeknownst to everybody in the world, he had been kept as a prisoner by the Illuminati, right? And he broke out of that prison. The Illuminati came back together. This is the Illuminati: Mr. Fantastic, Professor X, Black Panther, Namor, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Black Bolt. They're like a group of leaders of superheroes that basically come together and decide what the right thing to do is, without anybody else's input. Right? They're kind of fascist a little bit in that way. But anyway, they come together because the Maker is on the run, and they need to catch him before he does anything terrible. However, they are unable to stop him because he's basically just as smart as the Mr. Fantastic of this world, and he had a head start on them. So he escapes this world, he goes to a different reality, and the heroes could not follow him, basically, right?
All right.
So when he gets to this new world this is the 6160 universe, right? And this world was supposed to be very similar to what the main Marvel universe is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here you have Peter Parker, when he was, 12, 13 years old, going on a field trip to some science lab thing. And you see the spider, just like you saw in the movies and any origin story you know about Peter Parker. The spider comes down from the ceiling, this radioactive spider, and right before it's about to bite Peter, somebody catches the spider.
Is it Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah, it was the Maker. So basically, the Maker came to this world, and with the technology of the Immortus engine, that's what it's called, he travels back in time and he stops people from becoming the heroes that they were supposed to be, right? And the first one he stopped was Peter Parker, right? Stay with me because this is gonna come back later in a funny way.
What's with his eye?
I think he had some sort of fight in the original Ultimate universe, and that's how he got that scar. He wasn't always bad. When he was growing up, he had like a terrible childhood, as far as I can remember. But he ended up becoming part of like the Fantastic Four, and he was a hero. But something happened, and he ended up becoming a villain. We can look into his story later. I didn't read much of the Ultimate Universe. I'm just telling you, like, bits and pieces that I do know.
Yeah.
All right, so fast forward 20 years, right? Here's Peter Parker with the Parker family. That's Richard and May Parker, right? Peter Parker went on with his life. He never became Spider-Man, right? He ended up marrying MJ. They had a beautiful family. He works in the newspaper. She works in public relations. They're having a good life, right? Everything is good. But apparently, I don't know where Peter is telling MJ that, that he always had this feeling that he was supposed to do something more, something else, but he never knew what it was. And now he got basically, he was told by somebody that that feeling that he always had that something was missing was always right. And he's basically here asking MJ for permission to go along and try this thing and see where it leads. He wants to, like, get this thing off his chest. And MJ is like, yeah, sure, go for it, send it. What happened was Iron Lad, the Tony Stark from this universe, appeared to Peter and basically spilled the beans. Listen, you, Peter Parker, this is not your life. You were supposed to be the Spider-Man, but somebody stole that from you, and I'm here to give it back to you. And it's your choice if you want to be who you were supposed to be, or if you want to stay like you are, right? And he gave Peter this little box with this sphere inside of it, right? And he said, hey, inside of this sphere, there's a suit for you, and there's a spider. If you let the spider bite you, you'll become the hero you were supposed to be, right? So Peter is like, well, what the heck? Let's go for it. And after he talked to MJ, he went outside, he opened up the sphere, and this black ball that came out of there, that's his spider suit. And then you see the spider, he takes it out of the testing tube. And that's funny. I always think about, like, man, I'm about to be this great thing, but I have to let this spider bite me.
Yeah.
I don't think I could go through with it.
Imagine if Peter Parker had spider phobia.
So, what is that called? Arachnophobia?
Yeah, arachnophobia.
You imagine that just halts the whole thing. No Spider-Man. Just, hey, go ahead, cancel the whole story. This Peter in this universe, yeah, he don't like spiders. So the suit that Iron Lad gives Peter is made of Pico technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this, or I guess I didn't research it, but Pico technology exists in real life, right? If you Google it, it says that Pico technology is used to structure and restructure complex atomic formations based on the manipulation of single atoms and molecules.
So kind of like a nuclear bomb?
Not necessarily a nuclear bomb, but it's something that is used to shape and reshape into whatever they needed to, right? So basically, we get the new Ultimate Spider-Man, right? And his suit is completely black because the sphere had no other design. It was just that. When I saw this the first time, I was like, I don't know, I had this feeling that the Ultimate Spider-Man could have been a symbiote suit, right? That was all black, because who else wears an all black suit like that? Venom, right? So okay, so maybe the suit is the technology of the suit is gonna be the symbiote version of this world, right? I that's the first thing I thought. But let's move on. Stay with me. That's gonna come back again, okay? All right. So the first encounter he has with a villain in this world is with this universe's version of the Shocker, and it doesn't go too good because Peter is not like a hardened crime fighter. He gets duped by the Shocker and he like blasts him really bad, right? Mm-hmm. So when he gets back home, Peter's like, nope, everybody else. He's like beat up, he's tired, and he wants some comfort food. Do you know what comfort food is?
Yeah.
What is your comfort food?
Takis.
Takis?
Yeah.
Okay, so for Peter, it's ice cream. He got home and he's like, man, F this. Let me have some ice cream. And he's like sitting on his living room, just chomping on this ice cream. And all of a sudden, his daughter, May, walks into the living room and sees him. But of course, she sees this guy all black with just his mouth out, just sitting in the living room in all this whole black suit. Mm-hmm. She starts crying. He's like, no. May, it's daddy. It's daddy. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right? So now this is like their secret. Right? And the next time he goes out, when he comes back, she leaves a little note with a drawing of a spider on the fridge for him. Right? Now they have this little, dad and daughter, relationship, secret, just between the two of them, which is kind of cool, right? And then later on, MJ and Richard walked in on on May and Peter, and they're like, "Why are you two looking so suspicious? Why? What are you two doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, we're just, daughter and father, just hanging out. Nothing suspicious, nothing to see here." So MJ and Richard say, "Okay, we're gonna leave. We're gonna go do these errands. We're gonna do, don't do nothing I wouldn't do myself, right?" But in fact, they were doing something suspicious. They were getting ready to test different custom designs for Peter's suit, right? The first one is the black one on the left, right? It looks cool, right? This one is kind of like
Scarlet.
The Scarlet Spider.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a throwback to Ben Reilly's original suit because he wore the hoodie. This one, third from the left. I don't remember.
It reminds me of that one in the Spider-Man game.
In the Spider-Man game?
Yeah, was it called like Mac 10 or something?
Mac 10? Okay, yeah. And then the blue one, which is, if you look, the red pattern looks like the Insomniac suit. If they were white, it would look like the Insomniac suit to me.
It reminds me of the, Invincible.
Invincible, yeah.
Yeah, in season 3, he has a suit like that. It's blue and black.
Okay, so when he has the old blue like that, MJ says, "Yeah, I like that one better. But if you could," and he like switches it up a little bit. He adds more red, and she's like, "Ooh, I like it." And Peter says, "You want to take it for a spin?" And then they go around the city with the red and blue suit that we all know of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Funny that the spider on the chest is black, maybe because the original Picotech suit was designed to be black. It had no personality. It had no design to it. So they go out, they have fun, May's probably screaming her brains out, swinging through the city and all that, daughter and dad just having fun. Now, a couple of days go by, and Peter's, bored out of his mind because not much crime is going on. He's just playing with the webbing, just doing hammocks and whatever, until eventually there's some action. The Green Goblin of this universe is just flying by, fighting this guy who is basically Bullseye, like the Bullseye of this universe. So Peter, he tags along, he teams up, he beats the crap out of the Bullseye guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he joins Green Goblin on the ground, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for helping me," right? They seem to be friendly, right? They don't know each other, like they never seen each other before. So Green Goblin sends like he captures the Bullseye guy. He sends him away, and Green Goblin says, "Oh, that's an interesting suit you have there. I bet some people think it's very cool." And Peter says, "That's because it is cool." And the Green Goblin says, "Be that as it may, instead of cool, others might call it something else. I can't say this word, can you? Proprietary. You know what proprietary means?
No.
I had to look it up. Things that are owned by individuals or businesses.
Good brand.
Like a brand, right? What do you think Green Goblin said that?
Huh?
What do you think Green Goblin said this word specifically about Peter's suit?
This looks like his suit can be a brand of some sort of business, or it could be of his business too.
Okay. So he touches button on his chest, right? and something activates. And immediately, Peter starts to hear a voice inside the suit, right? He said, "Hey, what was that? Did you hear that?" And the voice said, "Connected, authenticated, and pairing. Suit deactivating." And Peter's like, "What? No deactivating. And the mask is starting to be dissolved off his face. You see the pattern? What does that look like?
Looks like that thing that the suit was made of.
Right. A little bit like a symbiote, right? Like malleable, like flexible fluid, right? Then the mask completely comes off. And Peter's like, "Oh my God." Like his secret identity is gone, right? And he doesn't know how that happened. And then the Green Goblin takes off his helmet too. And he says, "Hi, I'm Harry." And Spider-Man says, "Peter." So, "Well, Peter, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the world's a strange and dangerous place these days." And Peter says, "Yeah, I'm starting to notice that. These two strangers just acquainted themselves in this way. And you're gonna notice that this pattern that they drawn for the background, it's designed to show like tension, like animosity sometimes, right? Like even though they're being cordial, there's a lot of tension here because these two people that don't know each other are starting to be superheroes, just unmasked. One unwilling, right? And the other one willing. So they're like, well, you want to get a drink? Maybe talk about it?" And Peter says, "Sure."
Yeah, but what about his mask?
So that's what this issue specifically ended. Okay. Now, in the next issue, Peter and Harry decided to go on a double date, right? Harry is married to Gwen Stacy of this world, right? And as you know, Peter is married to MJ, so they go on a double date. Now, here, this is something that went over a lot of people's heads, and it took me a minute to understand what was being said here, right? But basically, the wives go to the bathroom and they have like a little girl talk, right? Then eventually, when she's trying to offer a job to MJ, basically, right? Let's put it that way. Because she said that, you probably know this, but if you didn't, Oscorp took over Stane Stark a few months ago. Right? Harry is Harry Osborn from his father was the owner of Oscorp, right? Oscorp Industries or whatever. Once Stane and Howard Stark died and Tony Stark went missing, that corporation was like up for grabs. And apparently, according to Wynn, Oscorp bought Stane and Stark. So maybe that's why Harry had the ability to mess with Peter's suit. Because remember, Tony Stark was the one who gave Peter his suit. So that's the connection there. That's that link, right? When it's not saying there, "Oh, this is why my husband was able to mess with your husband's super suit," in technology, but it's giving you an option there for you to think about it. Anyway, so what happened was, Norman Osborn was the owner of Oscorp, right? And he always had like super hard and high expectation of Harry to be the one to take over the company after Norman retired, right? But Harry was more like a goofball. He never took things seriously. He was late for stuff. And his father, this day specifically, was giving him a hard time about that. I was like, "Hey, you remember?" It's funny the way he says it too. He says, do you know what's my favorite memory of you? And he says, "Yeah, this one time we was playing catch." I said, No. That's my favorite memory of child Harry. Well, you're a man now. You know what's my favorite man of you as an adult? And he said, "No, what is it?" He said, "The day you became a man." You know when that happened? And Harry says, "No, tell me." And he says, "It hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting for it to happen. We're all waiting for you, right?" And then when Harry is like getting closer to the building, something attacked the building and exploded with everybody in it, right? And Harry saw that from the street. It was crazy. So that's how Harry, Norman died first, and then Harry, when the everybody was buried and all that, he had to go see a lawyer for the inheritance. And that's when the lawyer told him, hey, basically, you and Gwen are the owners now of Oscorp, right? So here's what happened. His lawyer told him, hey, here's an invitation to go see Wilson Fisk. I don't know why he wants to see you. So when Harry went to see Wilson Fisk basically had ownership now of Stark Industries, right? But because he worked for the maker and he want nobody to basically oppose him or the maker through the technology found that was developed in Stane and Stark Industries, he decided to sell the company to Osborn so it would be absorbed by somebody else, right? So basically, Kingpin sold Stane and Stark Industries to Harry. That's how he ended up owning it, right? And then when he goes through the different facilities and warehouse that the Stark Industries own, and one of the facilities specifically, they opened this secret, compartment, armory, whatever you call it, and inside they found the armor suits, the Iron Man suits.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions so far?
Who's that guy, Wilson Fisk? Is he like a character from the original story?
You remember the the original Spider-Verse movie? The huge white guy with the small head, the Kingpin. That's Wilson Fisk.
For a second, I thought it was Penguin, but I was like,
Penguin
dude's not that tall.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. Okay, stay with me. It's gonna come back. Okay. All right. They went into the armory. They discovered the iron suits. Now, this guy with the glasses and the buzz cut, his name is Otto Octavius. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, Dr. Octavius.
Dr. Octavius, Doc Ock, basically, right? They decide to modify some of the iron suits, and that's how the Green Goblin came to be. This is why Harry is the Green Goblin and not Norman Osborn. So they decided to modify and alter and customize one of the suits into what you see now is the Green Goblin suit. Okay, so when they're kind of like going through and exploring the technology, and he puts the helmet on, he sees that there's like a bunch of different things being pinged on a map, right? And he asked Otto what this is, and he said that everything that he see on the map is stuff that runs on a secure network that is all linked together, right? Each of those dots is another piece of Stark tech, like the suits, ArcNode, or any dedicated AI on the network. So he could see everything that was Stark Industries that was connected to the network. So basically, they just kept seeing different stuff popping up on the radar that connects in and out of the network. So they decided to go over. Basically, it could be like secret hideouts or other suits or other tech that Howard Stark had, and they just go all out exploring it. Right now, after that flashback, Peter and Harry are like teaming up, right? And their first mission, the first bad guy they decide to take down together was Kingpin, right? So they get the jump on Kingpin. They literally break into his penthouse to fight this guy, right? They have no evidence. They had no way to explain why they're doing this. They just decided it was the right thing to do. So they break into this guy's house to fight him, but unfortunately, things didn't go as they planned because Kingpin, not only he's big, bulky, strong, and all those things, right? But he also had like physical enhancements done to his body, right? So he was able to not just keep up with their suits and their tech and their gadgets and their weapons, but he beat the crap out of them. They basically got out of there. They ran from that fight to survive, right? And then the next day, Peter is at home and he can hide the bruising, he can hide the black eye, he can hide the scars. So his family is like, okay, you're a photographer for a newspaper company. What's going on? And Peter's like, all right, I'm gonna come clean. I've been the Spider-Man secretly, and me and this other guy, we decided to fight this guy, and we lost basically. And he says, but this has to be a family secret, so you guys can't tell anyone else ever, okay? And Richard says, okay. And May immediately says, don't look at me. I didn't tell anyone for like 4 whole months. And Richard says, you know for that long? How come I didn't know? And MJ says, what he means is, how come we didn't know? But anyway, after they tell the kids, they put him to bed. Now Peter has to face MJ alone, right? So they're in the room and you can tell she's upset. And he's like, shrugging his shoulders like, so... To kind of like break the ice, Peter says, do you want to see the suit? Mm-hmm. And she says, of course, I most certainly do, right? And he puts it on. He's doing like, he's trying to like show off the suit. He's very proud of it too, right? And she's like, oh, this works. Like she likes it. And she said, well, you're faster, you're stronger. And all that from the bite of a little spider. And he says, yeah, you're right. It's all that. And she said, well, I can't wait to see you in action. So what am I supposed to call you when you're in costume? Because until this point, Peter's just been winging it, right? In this world, there's no superhero. He's practically one of the first ones. And he's like, you know what? I didn't think about that. And she said, well, you need a code name, right? And he said, well, I have no idea. And she says, well, I got him, Spider-Man. And then just like he did with May, he takes MJ for a little spin around the city. Pretty cool, right? All right. Any questions so far? All right. So July next month, what's his name? Otto is making adjustments to the suits, right? And
oh wait, I do got one question.
Yeah.
So basically, when we first saw
Harry,
he was flying on like that little board thing.
Yeah.
But isn't it one of I forgot his name, Iron Man's suit? So that means it could fly with those. Why does he need to use a board?
I don't know. They decided to have the little flying board because if he didn't have the flying board, it would have looked like a green Iron Man. But they want him. He's supposed to be the Green Goblin. So I'm sure the board has its own perks. Like when they stopped Bullseye, he apprehended Bullseye, and the little board took him away, and Harry stayed back. So I'm sure he could travel without it, possibly, or it's remote control.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's when we get explanation on the suits, right? Both suits are Stark Tech, but they were built using 2 completely different types of engineering, right? So you can call it Stark 1.0 and then Stark 2.0. For Harry, suit is easier to explain. It's basically the perfect war machine, right? It's hardware with some software in it. It has weapons. It can shoot stuff, sustain damage, all these things, right? However, Peter's suit, he is not sure how it works.
Symbiote?
No, he takes a sample, like a little piece of the suit, to do further research because he doesn't really understand how it works. It's something advanced that he never seen before, and there's nothing else like it out there, right? So they decide to do more research. In the meantime, it is funny. Yeah, he said, "Are you sure about this, Harry?" He seems because like Otto, he doesn't have like really good social skills. So he's a little awkward, right?
Yeah.
And a little dry. And Harry says, "It's fine. When he gets like this, just let him cook."
Okay.
Right? Because he's about to like go like show off. Says, anyways, where was I? Oh yeah. So both suits run on the same network. They don't have to. They can operate independently, but while they do, they're subject to network commands, which is how Harry shut your suit down the first time the two of you met, right? Then they said, well, here's the amazing thing about the suits. Up to now, they've been running in a kind of safe mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
They actually have an onboard AI that you can use for anything. Combat analysis, life support, any kind of higher function problem solving, really anything. So you know how in the movies, Jarvis is inside the software, the AI for Iron Man. So these suits have the same capability, both of them, but they have not been activated. Okay, so Otto says we're gonna go ahead and activate it. We just gotta customize it, give it a little personality, right? So what would it be? And he has options to give this personality a voice, right?
Abraham Lincoln,
Napoleon Bonaparte, Caesar, Mahatma Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, and Stavius. Probably Otto Octavius. He was gonna offer his own voice for their suits, probably, right? Kind of weird, but hey. So Peter says, "Well, I like to talk to myself. So can we do that? Can we give my AI my own voice?" And Harry's like, "I want my dad in my head."
Okay.
And you see the tension. You see the right. That's kind of like, that's weird. Why would you want your dad who didn't like you in the first place? You know what I mean? So anyway, they're doing later on. They're doing a test drive. They're fighting each other, trying to test each other's suits and whatnot, right? And then they're ready to activate the AI software, right? So instead of taking the suits off, I don't know why they did with the suits on, and they got shocked by the new infuse of the software. Should have taken the suit off, right? So now immediately Harry can hear the voice of his father Norman for the AI, right? And it takes immediately the personality of Norman. It immediately says, "Show me what you're made of." Right? Like, prove to me you're worthy of the Osborn name. Basically, that's kind of like the vibe. But Peter is like literally another version of him. He's like, okay, easy on the identity crisis, but good luck with all your daddy issues, he tells Norman. But then the suit speaks to him. Speaking of that, who's a good one? We are, right? Notice how he doesn't say you are, Peter. He says we are.
Yeah.
Kind of like we are Venom, right?
Yeah.
Stay with me. He says, just the best. Love those kids. And both their birthdays are coming up. We should get them something good, really good. I bet Harry's dad gave the worst presents. You can tell. We should take it easy on him, right? So the first thing you notice about Peter's AI is that it talks a lot, right? They go back to a sparring session when now the AI is active, right? And as Harry starts to like get a couple punches in the fight, his AI is like, good. Like his father, like giving him that reinforcement.
Yeah.
And then when Spider-Man turns the fight around and starts to kind of like dominate Harry a little bit, you can see his father's voice, like talking down to Harry. Like, there's always someone out there trying to beat you, hurt you, take everything from you. They killed me. What do you think they'll do to you? Right? And as Peter punches Harry, Norman's voice just keeps bugging Harry calling him soft, like basically like a father that doesn't approve, right? And then he starts to amp up the antics and use other weapons on Peter, right?
Close but no banana.
Yeah, Peter is silly. And then Norman's voice says, "I always wonder how weak you are. I'm beginning to think I know. You're not avenging me, son. You're embarrassing me." And that continues to like bother Harry to the point that he blasts out this beam from his chest and really gets to Peter. Like Peter's like, "Oh wait, that actually hurt. Are you okay?" And the suit says, "Yeah, we're okay." And then Harry talks in his head to his dad, or the AI personality of his dad. Said, "Well, Dad, how was that?" And Norman says, "Acceptable." Like Norman could never see his son be good enough or do good enough for him. Basically, that's the gist of that relationship being expanded through the AI here. I thought that was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So, Otis in the back, running diagnostics and monitoring both suits, see how they're holding up after the AI, right? And then the two of them start fighting, and in the meantime, Otto is like crashing out. It's like, "We have a problem." Another signal just came on the network, right? And out of the sudden, Iron Lad shows up from the future.
Isn't that Tony Stark's son?
So in this world, Iron Man was Howard Stark, the father, and Iron Lad is Tony Stark.
Okay.
This is Iron Lad. So he comes back from the future and he's like, "All right, are you a hero yet?" Right? And they were like, "What the hell?" Because Otto and Harry had never seen Iron Lad this close.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, that attack that blew up Oscorp it was put on Iron Lad. So to the world, everybody thinks he killed all those people. So, Otto and Harry are a little wary of Iron Lad. In the next issue, MJ and Peter are ready to go out to the park, have like a little family hangout. No superhero allowed. And Peter sees the sphere reaching to him, and then he says, "No, I'm not taking the suit. I'm just gonna be with my family and gonna have a nice day out. I'm not gonna be out there doing anything. Just gonna be with my family, right?" And when he's leaving, the suit talks back to him. He says, "Well, that's disappointing, but tell the kids I said happy birthday." And he's like, "You can talk? How are you talking? Like you're not supposed to be on. How are you talking?" He says, I talk all the time, Peter. I believe we even had conversations. Yes, same as right now. I'm not actually talking out loud. You're imagining this." And Peter says, "What?" And he says, "Just kidding." And you can see this fear make a smile. Creepy. He said, "Okay, that's hilarious." And he says,
"People think I'm not funny."
Yeah, and Peter says to him, "And people think I'm not funny." And the suit says, "And those people will be very, very wrong." Right? So the suit finally tells Peter, "Listen, I'm a perfect replica of your psyche, housed in a totally independent, completely adaptable pickle shell. Of course I can talk." And then he says, "Oh, okay. I didn't know that about you." And he says, "Oh, I can do all kinds of things, Peter." And Peter puts those fears down and says, "You know what? We'll talk about this later when I get back." And he takes off, right? So back to that scene where Iron Lad shows up, right? Mm-hmm. He says, "All right, I have questions about my suit." And Iron Lad said, "That's all you got questions about? Not the end of the world, the Maker's Council who blew up that building?" He said, No. First of all, what's up with my suit? Like, what is it made of? Like, how, give me the ins and out. And Tony said, "Well, basically, this is the last technological creation from my father before he passed away. Unfortunately, nobody knows how it works Nobody knows what's made of. Only he was the only one that worked on it. But I figured it was a special suit, so a special suit for a special someone. So I give it to you. And Peter said, "Oh, thank you. That's the nicest things anybody has said." And then he said, "Because this guy's been punching me for hours while the other Seiko just watches. Still, I gotta ask, what do you mean? What makes me so special?" He said, "Oh, you don't know. Of course you don't know. How could you? You have you're very special because, you're top of the list." The Green Goblin is like, "List? What list?" And he said, "Well, there's this database that exists, about all the people that were supposed to be heroes that were stopped from being heroes, right?" And he's talking about a whole list of people, of stuff that the maker did to change the world. So they say, "Oh, well, we never saw any of that in the files of the Stark Industries. You better not be lying." I said, "No, I'm not lying." And then he says, who are you supposed to be anyway?" Talking to Harry. And Harry says, "Oh, don't worry about that." And Tony says, So he touches the chest on his suit, and his helmet comes off. And he's like, "What the?" And Peter says, "See, not so cool when someone does it to you." And he's like, "Oh, my face." So okay, never mind that. Where was I? Oh, the list. And Tony says, "You weren't on it at all, right? Because in the world, in the Marvel 616 main universe, Harry was not a hero.
Yeah.
It was only a list for heroes to be stopped, right? Right? So basically, again, back to the beginning. Who was the first person that the maker intervened with?
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. That's why he means he was top of the list. Because when he made the registry of all the things he was doing to change the world, the first one he stopped was Peter Parker. So, maybe he's special in that way. But anyway, Tony says to Harry, "You know what? Keep the suit, keep the technology, keep Stark Industries. I'm moving on to something else, something better. Nice to meet you guys." And he takes off. And immediately Harry says to Otto, "Hey, we gotta make sure that doesn't happen again. I can't have nobody messing with my technology, messing with my suit anyway." So Otto says, "Okay, yeah, that's a safe bet. We'll get on it." So now the Kingpin, because he's starting to have problems with Peter and Harry, Spider-Man and Green Goblin, he activates the Sinister Six from this universe. Have you ever heard of the Sinister Six?
Yeah.
So in this world, the Sinister Six are Mysterio, Black Cat, the Mole Man, Kraven the Hunter, and Mr. Negative.
I don't know these two. Isn't Mr. Negative from Spider-Man game?
Yeah, you actually have the comic where he first appeared. Yeah. So
I just forgot his name.
Mole Man is the first villain in the Fantastic Four comics. He comes from underneath the earth, and he has these creatures that he control. He's funny though. So in the meantime, Harry and Otto have been working on basically putting a stop so Tony cannot mess with their technology anymore, or anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. So they're sharing the upgrades that they were given, and how they're now disconnected from that network, so Tony cannot mess with them anymore. Now, because they couldn't actually deal with Peter's suit, they said, "Okay, while we figure out how we can modify and mess with your suit, we created another one for you," right?
I just noticed the original Spider-Man.
The spider? Yeah. So Otto is like, "Okay, I created a new safe design suit for you from Stark Technology. Would you like to see it?" And Peter is like, "Give me 1 second." And he starts talking to himself. "Okay, so what do we think?" And the suit says, "Well, I'm offended for you. And personally, my feelings are a little hurt."
This is an AI.
Yeah, this is the AI. I mean, I understand why we don't want Stark to be able to track our movements, but, I understand. And in the back, Otto has never seen Peter do this, and he says, "What is he doing?" And Harry says, talking to himself, he does that a lot. Okay, so what do we do with you with the suit? We can disconnect you. Tony can find you at all times. Like, what do we do? He says, "I'll bet some money that the doctor wants to keep me with him." And Peter says, "You think so? Okay, let me see. Hey, if I use the new suit, what do we do with this one?" And Otto, oh, this is hilarious. Otto says, "I was thinking the best thing to do would be to build some kind of containment cage for it. That seems like the safest choice. Plus, it will give me more time to figure things out, play around with it a little bit. Basically dissecting it, cutting it in half, breaking it apart, right?" And the suit immediately says, "Don't you dare leave me with him." And Peter said, "Yeah, not a chance." He doesn't trust Otto either. So then Jesus says, "I could stay at home until things get sorted out. Worst case scenario, I'm the best home defense system you could possibly have." He said, "You know what? That's right. Tony already knows where I live. He already knows I have a family. This is safest bet to keep you over there, right? So, all right, let's do it. Let's see the suit. Show me the suit." And then boom. This is basically the Iron Spider suit, or the Iron Spider. In the original 616 Marvel Universe, this was created by Tony Stark during Civil War, right? Now here it was created by Otto with Stark technology anyway, right? That's why it looks so familiar. And Otto is geeking out. He's so proud about this suit, right? Mm-hmm. He's going over all the different things he could do. It has AC in it. It has rockets. It has propulsors. He's super geeking out all over it, right? And then he says, "So, what do you think?" With a huge smile on his face, right? You can tell he's proud of his work, right? And he should be. It looks cool. And Peter says, "I think I'm good." And Otto, pissed, he says, "What do you mean? You're good?" And then Harry has to soften blow. He said, "Listen," he says, he likes the suit. He's very thankful for what you did, but perhaps the suit won't really work with him, because of his powers and his abilities. Maybe a mechanized, war machine is not the thing for him.
Maybe Dr. Octavius can use it.
Maybe, yeah. So he said, "You know what? It's possible that the suit is very generalized. I could work on something more customized for Peter." And Peter's like, "Cool, whatever." And he says, "Okay, the solution could be just simpler." And Peter says, "Yeah, I'll take it. Instead of the huge mechanical war machine thing, I don't want that." So it turns out Otto created a spandex suit for Peter because he had nothing to give in at the moment. So now Peter, swinging through the city of New York in spandex. So anyway, at this time, Harry invites Peter to a little getaway vacation for Christmas in December. And Peter says, "That'd be nice. However, in Christmas, we, the Parkers, we threw a whole thing at home with family, extended family and friends. I want you to come. I want you to be with us for Christmas." And Harry says, "I'd like to, but Gwen already made plans, and her plans are my plans. And once she makes her mind, it's really hard to change her mind. But if we end up going, I'll let you know." Right in this scene, Peter has his spider sense kicked in, and he tried to explain to Harry. Maybe Harry knew or had the same feeling, right? But no, he didn't. They get attacked by the Black Cat. Right?
Oh, Black Cat.
Black Cat.
Like the reverse of
Felicia Hardy.
Yeah.
So in the comics, I think that Felicia Hardy's father might have been the Black Cat too when he was younger. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah. So basically, he shoots this beam that deactivates the Green Goblin armor, right? So now Peter is left alone to deal with Black Cat, and inside the Green Goblin suit, Harry is basically, he's now inside a tin can, shut off completely. He's sweating bullets inside there. He's like, Dad, can you hear me? And the AI is on, but he won't talk back to Harry. Maybe he's disappointed that Harry got hit first. Who knows? Black Cat turned out to be a very capable fighter with the whip. He's like cracking Peter really bad, and up to this point, Peter always had the Picotech suit, so he had never been damaged before. So this is the first time he's feeling pain, right? So he's thrown a little off on this. All the way that Black Cat like gets his whip around Peter's neck, and he's like strangling him, and Peter's like, "Oh my God, what did we do? Like, who are you? Like, they don't know this guy at all." And then you can see Harry like screaming to his AI dad to like activate or like reboot the suit. Like, hey Dad, Peter needs our help. Like, what the hell? Like, reboot. So begrudgingly the AI is like, all right, rebooting. So eventually Peter turns the fight around and he apprehends the Black Cat with the webbing, right? And then he goes to check on Harry, who's getting back online, and he didn't realize the Black Cat had this I don't know, like this laser sword, this what do you call him in
lightsaber?
A lightsaber looking thing. He breaks free, and when he's coming back to where they are to basically kill them, probably the AI in Green Goblin's suit says boot complete, and the voice tells Harry, armor's back online, don't think, son, just act. And Harry does that exactly. He pushes Peter out of the way. He blasts the Black Cat, but he gave him too much force, and he's sending flying off the rooftop where they were, and Black Cat went like free falling all the way down to the street. And Peter's like, he's still moving, call for an ambulance, right? And then after an ambulance comes over, they actually have a moment to talk, and you can see like there's tension. Peter didn't like that. He said, what the hell, Harry? Harry's reaction is like, he would have killed you, Peter, and not thought twice about it. I heard what he said to you about him and Fisk and all this stuff. You need to know something, Peter. If I'm put to the choice and one of them is about to kill you, I would never hesitate. Like, Harry is like super hardcore about this. Maybe because of the influence of the voice of his father talking to him, who knows? But Peter's like, we can't be like them. We're supposed to be heroes. We're supposed to be better than that, right? So they have this little contention. They disagree on that. But after, you know, the waters settle and everybody calm down, Peter says, well, so just so you know, even though I don't agree with this, you're still invited for Christmas. And Harry says, sorry, I've got plans. Now, in the next issue, and this is going to be a short one, you had the new Black Cat, quote unquote, the new Black Cat in the cover, right? But it was a clickbait. In this issue, Harry and Peter were supposed to be staking out this bank, right? And Harry was nowhere to be found. So Peter calls Otto to see if he could track where Harry was. And Otto at first didn't want to do it, but then Peter's like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna stop bothering you until you help me with this. So he said, okay, I'm gonna look for him. But before he can tell Peter what Harry was, something popped up in the bank, so Peter had to hang up the phone call. So when he gets there, there's these goons wearing these masks. Do you recognize them?
Yeah, it's I forgot his name, but it's their henchman.
Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was right. The guy breaking into the vault of this bank was Mr. Negative. And they have little chit chat back and forth, right? Mr. Negative not even trying to fight Peter. Peter's like, you should go. You should, turn yourself in, make this easy for everybody, blah, blah. And Mr. Negative activates his powers. And then the people, the civilians that were being held hostage, start to jump Peter. And as you can see, he's still wearing a spandex suit. So they're clawing and scratching the shit out of him. And he don't really want to fight back against them because, they're civilians. He don't want to hurt civilians. So he just peels out of there. And he makes it back to his apartment, and he looks kind of like, you remember the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Yeah.
When he's fighting Green Goblin and his mask is half exposed with that little strip. Don't it look like it?
Yeah.
So he gets back and he's like, oh, hey there. And it's MJ. And she don't look too happy. And she's like, hey, yourself, Tiger, having a bad day at work? He says, thank God. I didn't want the kids to see me and freak out. And she says, yeah, maybe worry about me right now. Don't worry about the kids. He says, right, well, so start off, you look amazing today. And MJ is like, thank you. Like, they're so funny. But anyway, he says, and I know all this looks bad, but believe it or not, it was a moral decision. I could have avoided it, but innocent people might have gotten hurt, so I took the beating. He's basically, hey, look, it looks bad, but this was my choice. I wanted to get beat up like this, okay? Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. They work it out. You know, she wanted to have some reassurance that he wasn't in danger. Now, none of them were in danger. And he kind of like gave her that reassurance through that conversation. But then she says something here. She said, yeah, that's what my sister used to say, but not in a nice way. Like Peter wasn't good enough for MJ. Like, that's what MJ's sister used to say. And he says, and now you don't even talk to each other. And MJ said, well, you and I do. And he says, absolutely, we do. We're in the same team. Hey, don't be mad. So anyway, the Sinister Six are having a meeting. They're upset that Black Cat was taken down and that they're no longer the Sinister Six, they're the Sinister Five. So they want to kill Peter. And boom, Black Cat shows up in a wheelchair. Like, that fall bust him really bad. He's not in a wheelchair. He said, no, never mind that. There's no Sinister Five. We're still the Sinister Six. I introduce you, my daughter, Felicia. She will take my place as the Black Cat. And this is the only panel she's in the entire book. Like I said, the cover, clickbait. Hated it. It looked nice though. So at the end of the issue, Peter is texting with Harry about why Harry didn't show up for the stakeout at the bank. And he says, can't talk over in the phone. I'll tell you in person. Where are you now? Well, I'm at Memorial Park. All right, I'll see you there. Now to the last issue that just came out, right? It's a Christmas issue. Remember, they was having a Christmas party, right? Yeah. And Peter had invited Gwen and Harry, right? Uh-huh. There you have it. They're having a little get together at the Parker's place. That's Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is alive in this universe. Jonah J. Jameson, they're friends. That's Richard. That's May. This is Gail, MJ's sister.
She drew a little Spider-Man.
She drew a little Spider-Man, and somebody drew Jonah, probably. So Gail, she be bugging. She be talking crap to the kids, to Peter. Like, she's just not fun to have around as company. Gail's like bugging around May Parker. And then May, she was playing on the phone. She's like, hey, Mom, Gwen is calling. And MJ says, no, just let her go to voicemail. Don't worry about it. I'll call her later. Keep that in mind, right? And then the whole problem, like MJ said earlier, because they haven't seen each other in years, right? This is the first time she came over in years. And the problem was that she always talked crap about Peter and about the fact that MJ had children with Peter. So that's why they weren't in speaking terms. But MJ goes to the kitchen to talk to Peter because she's trying to like figure out what she should do about Gail. Should MJ kick Gail out? Should they talk? I mean, it's Christmas, might as well. She's here. Should they bury the hatchet? And she basically talks all her process with Peter. Peter's just standing there smiling. And she said, oh my God, you're a good listener, Peter. You were right. I'll go back. I'll talk to Gail. We'll figure it out. We'll bury the hatchet, right? Notice how Peter just didn't say anything at all. So anyway, MJ and Gail make truce. Everybody's hanging out. Everybody happy, right? However, May says, hey, Mom, Gwen is calling again. Are you gonna answer the phone? This is like the third time. She's just like, you know what? Yeah, excuse me. Let me grab the phone. And Gwen is like crashing out. Oh my God, MJ, I've been trying to talk to you. Do you know? And he's like, okay, hold on. And she takes Peter to the room. It's like, Peter, something's going on. Let me put it on speakerphone. So Gwen says, I'm at our house for the holidays. I had a meeting out of town, so I came straight here. And Harry was supposed to drive up, but he didn't show up. That was 6 days ago, and I can't reach him. Does Peter have any idea where he is? Remember, they had plans. They were going to spend Christmas somewhere else. That's why they're not at the Peters, right? But Harry never made it. Where do you think Harry is?
Probably in the suit fighting somewhere.
Probably, right? What else could be doing? So MJ goes to talk to Peter and say, hey, do you know? Listen, I'm talking to you. Because Peter had his back turned, right? And when she touches Peter, she gets this eerie feeling that something is wrong with Peter. And when she touches him, it's Peter starts to break apart.
Is that the suit?
She's like, oh my God, you're not Peter. Where is he? What have you done? And he continues to break apart, and the Picotech starts to break out of Peter's shirt. And she says, where is he? Answer me. Hey, where's my husband? Tell me something. And then he turns around and he says, Merry Christmas. It was the suit.
Where's the actual Peter? Is he still in the Dr. Octavius area?
No. All right, so here it is. You have a little prologue at the end of the comic. So that's Craven. And that's where the real Peter and Harry are. He captured them.
That's a real plot twist, I guess. I'm just confused.
All right. What got you confused?
Like, how did they capture Peter and Harry?
That's a good question. I believe that will be explained in the next issue. The next couple of issues have Craven on the cover, so I'm guessing Craven captured them and is gonna release them so he can hunt them. That sounds like a Craven thing to do. I'm not sure, but that is basically an entire recap of a year worth of Ultimate Spider-Man, basically 12 issues. And I only focus on the story about the suits because there's a lot of great other things that's going on with like Uncle Ben and J. Jonah Jameson. I could talk more about the relationship between Peter and MJ. There's a lot of cool things there. I could talk about other stuff that's going on in the Ultimate Universe, but the suits alone by themselves are a story by themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Harry is probably gonna go crazy with his father's voice in his head like that. And this whole idea that the Picotech Suit was Venom, I don't know what you think. You think it could be Venom?
Yeah, because it would make sense if Tony Stark's father was working on it, because they don't really know anything about it except for it came from space, right?
Here?
No, didn't it came from like a world?
Oh, the world,
Yeah.
the symbiotes.
Yeah. Isn't like Cole the leader?
No, the god of symbiotes.
Yeah, I didn't know how to say his name.
Yeah, it's no. But yeah, any questions?
That's all the questions I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything? What you think about Ultimate Spider-Man?
I think it's a nice story of it was like they were really good with the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it can show you, like, it shows you the tension with Spider-Man and Harry, and how they first met was a little wobbly.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, and boom, your mask is off. I know who you are.
Yeah, I still don't get how his mask was off. Like
Peter's?
Yeah, like, did it move by itself, or did
Harry did that. Harry did that because both suits were connected to the same network, and Harry basically had control of everything that was Stark technology, right?
Mhm.
So the Pico suit is Stark Industries technology. That's how he could basically remote control it from his Green Goblin suit.
Okay.
And then the same way, when Tony Stark appeared, he also had kind of like override access to every Stark Industry technology, because essentially he is one of the he was more in the inside of how that works than Otto and Harry were. That's how he could control Harry's suit like that. I don't think there like Venom is gonna be out and about soon, but I think he will eventually. Maybe after the whole Sinister Six story arc ends.
Okay.
All right, so that's now. This has been JJ and John C, aka Year the Collector, and this was a entire recap on the Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicchetto, Matthew Wilson on the colors, and Corey Petit on the letters. What about the art? Do you like Marco Cicchetto's art?
Yeah.
It's nice, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you like the story, this is by Jonathan Hickman. Hickman is probably one of the best writers Marvel has had in maybe the last 20-some years, easily. All right, I'm gonna sign off there. Thank you for sitting down and hanging out and listening to me geeking out on Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This was longer than I thought it would be. Sorry about that.